Talk about a headline that instantaneously caught my attention. Never in my days, never in recent memory, to me, has there been a situation where IGN played a game before everyone else, a AAA studio game before everyone else, and their take wasn't them sucking the studio off. That their take wasn't them clamping down as hard as possible on that studio's nipple and refusing to let go. There has never been a situation where IGN wasn't gonna milk you for about 15 different articles talking about how this generic fucking game is the best thing on the face of the planet. I still haven't forgiven them in recent memory for the way in which they covered Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, where they hung on to that Activision tit as hard as fucking possible, hyping up this mediocre, shallow game that only exists to make Activision money. Here we are. Here we are in a situation where Rocksteady allowed them to play a preview, a demo of their upcoming Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. And surprising enough, in this article, we're going to go through it, but it sounds as though it ain't all gravy. All right? All right, so this is by Destin Laguerre. It was posted today at 9 a.m. The best part of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League after playing it for a few hours is the story. Of course. We are in no way, shape, or form shocked that the best part is going to be the story. Sidebar. So I know a lot of people did not like Gotham Knights, right? When Gotham Knights popped up onto the scene, a lot of people didn't like the combat system. They didn't like the fact that it was multiplayer. They didn't like the fact that you were going to rotate between all of these different characters. I really feel as though if you've never played Gotham Knights and you were apprehensive, it's only like $10 on Steam. You can pick it up super cheap. I would say go out and play Gotham Knights. It was surprisingly good. However, the complaints that a lot of people had were still warranted when that game came out. I am honestly amazed because when I saw Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and then I played through Gotham Knights, I said something along the lines of Suicide Squad is going to run into this exact same issue when the game comes out. People aren't going to enjoy having to play multiple different characters going through the exact same story, even if you can switch on those characters on the fly. The world is really going to have to be densely populated where there are just things to do with random situations going on. You can't have situations where you're going from point A of the world to point B of the world and nothing is happening in any way, shape, or form and call yourself, well, I don't think this game is actually a true multiplayer game. I think it's still a single player experience, but it just allows you to play as the different characters, unlike Gotham Knights. But those situations, it seems as though, have reared their ugly head and they are back. That also a big problem I have with the entire premise. I can't help but shake that there's no way Rocksteady is going to let this stick. Our heroes have done terrible things. There will be time reversal mechanics or some alternate Earth timeline that comes along and washes away all the terrible awfulness that happened during the story, from enslaving a child form of poison ivy. God damn. Just hold on, my man. Hey, just talk about the game. Don't drop story hints in here. What is you doing? What is you doing? Just hold on now, because now I don't want to spoil it for anybody going in. I'd like to have been surprised by that shit. Wait a minute. Okay, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that fucking line. Why even have that line in here? And when you pair this disconnect with game mechanics straight out of the likes of Destiny, Anthem, and Marvel's Avengers, I'm left worried about the final project coming together in a way that works. The fun just wasn't there for me, at least not yet. Let me explain in more detail. The story has its fun moment, yes, and team banter, at least during cutscenes, is when Kill the Justice League is at its best. The cutscenes have clearly been given a lot of love. Meanwhile, the character models look great, the voice acting is on point, and there are a lot of moments where genuinely I laughed, thinking that this could be enough to carry me through the messy, tired, open world missions. You're gonna have to fix those missions, dog. I don't know what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to look at whatever is the most popular and best open world game currently on the market. You're gonna have to go and look at that, and you're gonna have to say, okay, we need to take exactly what they did and create a world mission structure that people are gonna be able to play and enjoy. Um, I don't know what you're gonna do, because if this late in the game the mission structure you have is messy and tired for your open world missions, you're really not going to be able to hold people's attention. Now, an argument could be made that if we were to take a look at, let's say, Spider-Man, how Spider-Man handled it is by having maybe 8 different world events that can happen, such as the car chases, the drop in beatdowns, putting out the fires, and dealing with just generic shit in general that happens around the city. There's really only 8 events, and then as you progress in the story, more events unlock themselves. You're gonna have to, in my opinion, do what Spider-Man did and tie a lot of these events that are happening around the city or into story missions. Like, they're gonna have to be side story missions, and a lot of side story missions, and a lot of collectible stuff, and a lot of dialogue stuff. But at the exact same time, people are tired of stuff. One of the reasons why Assassin's Creed isn't hitting the way in which it used to is that people are reaching a point now where we land into this gigantic open world and we open up the minimap, and when we open up the minimap, there's just 50 things to run around and collect. Go get that viewpoint, go collect that one collectible, go collect that art piece, go pick this up, go pick that up. How about you drop us into like this just chaotic, fucked up world, and we just find our own way? Maybe there's a marker that's supposed to keep us on the path to get to our next main mission, but take the Elden Ring approach. Drop the Suicide Squad into the city, have there be a main story, have there be a ton of side missions that are happening, and then make it so that if you complete those side missions and you run down those multiple different rabbit holes, when you get back on the main story, those decisions that you make basically around the world, they affect the main story. Maybe the villain you have to go up against, the very first one, is maybe it's the Flash, and maybe there's a mission that takes you to Star Labs that you discover maybe somebody who's Flash adjacent is working on something as a Speed Force dampener for the Reverse Flash. Or maybe you find the Reverse Flash's Speed Force dampener. When you get into the fight with the Flash, you activate that, and it's almost as if you went off and found the shackles when you first encountered Mog, and you threw the shackles on the ground and you trapped them, and the fight became like 95% easier. Maybe you do that to the Flash and you just blow right through him. No issue whatsoever. You have to make it so the world feels lived in, and at the exact same time, exploration is rewardable. If exploration is just basically me going off to the left side of the map and finding the exact same activities, go beat up those 5 guys, go collect that one thing, go climb up there and look out in the tower, that's on the opposite side of the map, I'm not going to feel like doing exploration anymore. And if you choose to tie exploration into the progression system in some way, shape, or form, you're going to find a lot of people trying to beat the fucking game with like 2 powers. It's I, this late in the game. I truly don't know outside of that how you would essentially fix it. A live service game from Rocksteady is not what I had on my Christmas of the year. Neither did I. I had a single player story in mind with maybe some multiplayer capabilities where me and my boys could squad up controlling different members of the Suicide Squad to take people down. But a live service game in the vein of Destiny and the Avengers, who the fuck had that on their bingo card? This team is single-handedly responsible for making some of the best combat I've ever experienced. The common arenas in Arkham series also allowed you to tackle them with stealth or brute force, adding further flavor and variety of Bruce Wayne's vigilantes. To this day, in fact, you can find ridiculous takedown montages on YouTube and TikTok for Batman Arkham Knight. Unfortunately for Suicide Squad, once the fun story bits end, you're left with much less inspired combat system. Yes, because the members of the Suicide Squad, for the most part, are not stealthy. Deadshot is, sure, But King Shark, no. Captain Boomerang, no. Harley Quinn, no. So you're not going to get those stealth elements the way in which you got them with Batman, which I feel as though the addition of stealth in Batman gave you the ability to want to be the Dark Knight. Like the idea that you wanted to be like this force that just picked everybody off on the map and then had the remaining enemies start freaking out at the fact that everybody was just gone. That was living inside of the Batman power fantasy. How do you create a power fantasy with 4 different characters? I feel as though this game should have basically just picked one, or not even picked the Suicide Squad at all and just had been another Batman game. But hey, that's just me. There are shiny moments with combat, such as the powerful feeling of takedowns, and there does seem to be some depth to build variety, but you'll do it surrounded by teammates who won't shut up with their quips, which quickly becomes annoying. We're back to the same issue that we low-key kind of had with the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is a whole lot better than people gave it credit for, and it definitely deserved a sequel. It was definitely, in my opinion, one of the better comic book games that we've ever received. And when the combat does start, it has fun moments, but has weird issues like long animations to regen your shield, or you'll get knocked out of an animation for unclear reasons. I thought it was just me, but it also happened in this provided footage straight from WB. Where's the provided footage? Is it this provided footage? I don't know. While we have this provided boss fight footage against the Flash footage to reference, I just want to mention that I found this fight incredibly annoying. There's no indication where the Flash is most times, and he's the Scarlet Speedster, so you just constantly wait. She's constantly zipping around the map. That didn't make the fight hard, it just made it frustrating. You get a handful of shots on him before he teleports to the next location, so you're just trying to chase him down or catch him standing in one big spot long enough to get hits him before he does it all over again. I do wish there was a bit of a he's down, get him moment, but unfortunately it seems like that trope wasn't used here. WB also said, see what I was saying earlier about going off on a side mission and finding, let's say, Speed Force Dampener that they used on Eobard Thawne or another Flash enemy, and then using that Speed Force Dampener to basically siphon his Speed Force away. And as the fight progresses, he gets slower and slower and slower until like he's just running really fast, and that's basically it. And then you can have that beatdown montage moment where you basically jump and fuck his ass up. That's not here. It's not here at all. So basically, he's going to be zipping around the map at fucking Mach 10, and then you do a little bit of damage to him when he's standing still, then he zips off the map again. That's annoying. Nobody wants to do that. I would rather have it where my exploration rewarded me by allowing me to be able to beat the shit out of the Flash a lot easier. The difficulty that you're saying here should be set for somebody who chose not to explore, didn't go off and get that Speed Force Dampener. Theoretically, this is just me talking about how I would set up the side missions for the game, and they're struggling to beat the Flash, who's running around like an actual speedster, and you can't tell exactly where he is or what's going on, because that's how his enemies would in general see him and fight him when he's moving around at top speeds. WL sent us footage of an experienced Shark player wrecking shop, so I'll include a montage of their gameplay in my video preview above to show what it looks like when someone has played for hundreds of hours versus a couple hours at a preview event. In the open world, however, missions tend to favor many of the tried and true types, which makes them feel a bit less uninspired, bit like uninspired filler. Like, stop me if you heard this before. You defend a point for waves of enemies that spawn. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that earlier? I said that earlier, right? Like, I legitimately said that earlier about just generic combat stuff and having to learn how to weave the generic combat stuff into really cool story side missions that pull people out of the fact that they're doing generic shit. The potential saving grace for all my grabs could be that the whole combat system comes together a lot better when you get to sit down and actually make a build, which we didn't have a chance to do right at the preview event. For some context, we started out playing through the same tutorial from the beta and picking a character, Deadshot in my case. After that, we jumped into Chapter 3, where I tried out Shark. What I didn't realize was that Chapter 3 gives you complete build control, and having played, why didn't they tell you all this? It's like Rocksteady sat down and was like, Let's make this fucking difficult for the people reviewing the game. Let's not tell them anything and see how stupid they actually are. And that alone would piss me off if I came to review your game and you didn't explain any of the systems to me, but then you dropped me into the center of the game. Because I'm assuming if I sat down and played this game, there would be a kind of walkthrough tutorial of like, hey, now that you're here at like the base of operations, this is how you set up builds for weapons that you're going to take out into the field and blah, 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 blah. The idea that they dropped in chapter 3, which is probably halfway through the game, don't explain the building and the mechanics to you, and then you walk away with a sour taste in your mouth. That's on Rocksteady. Rocksteady dropped the ball. But it all comes back to the similar core mechanics: aim gun, shoot gun, and those core mechanics in a game like Destiny really save it. Here it just felt samey across the board. Yeah, because I didn't show up to play a shooter. Even with each character's abilities sprinkled in, I didn't even really get time to look at my gear stats and throw something together to try out. I did try a build recommendation from Jack Hackett, production manager at Rocksteady, but I didn't really have enough time to get used to how it flowed. However, his excitement about build possibilities does continue to give me a glimmer of hope. That glimmer of hope is about to be dead, because anytime you have a system in a video game that requires you to create builds, there will always be optimal builds, which means maybe in the first 2 weeks everybody's build is unique, but by the time you reach week number 3 or towards the end of the month, everybody's using the one optimal build to just blow through content for that character. To give you a taste of what you'll be looking at, there are weapon afflictions that attach an elemental effect to weapons like Deep Freeze that does cold damage. For that's basically how Peter Quill's gun works in Guardians of the Galaxy. Did they just borrow a bunch of concepts from a bunch of shit and just like throw it in a pot? Because I'm reading here, the combat system seems like Guardians of the Galaxy. The live service is basically Destiny and Avengers. The world setup with random events happening is essentially Gotham Knights. There's just random shit just thrown together. What's going on? And for what reason? To give you a taste of what you'll be looking at, there. No, I already read the weapon afflictions part. Oh, I was right at the bottom. Never mind. Penguin will let you craft new weapons and shield mods, traversal mods, or grenades. And there are some interesting guns here, like Bugga Poppins. That sounds Bugs a Poppin. That will not do damage to a Terminoth, okay, but will slow down every enemy within 10 meters. See, this is the type of weapon that you would probably use for the Flash. Each character also has a skill tree that can be upgraded, and all of that is on top of weapons mods that work together to give you passive buffs when you pair, say, 2 gizmo gear pieces together to do more burning damage, but with the trade-off that grenades do 50% less damage, but have a 100% chance to burn all enemies on hit. I know I've been really hard on Suicide Squad. It's okay, brother. And believe me, I really want to be wrong about it. Not only is Rocksteady one of my favorite developers, same here, but this genre is one I've spent far too much time in across Destiny. My man, Destiny, Anthem, the Guardians of the Galaxy game, Avengers, Division 2, fucking Warframe. Like, there are just so many games recently that all use this same kind of sort of system, but at the exact same time, there are ones that I think excel at doing it, which Warframe and Destiny are definitely at the top of the live service model, and then there are games that are just absolutely fucking abysmal at it. Anthem and Avengers are the two at the bottom, and then there are middle of the pack games that aren't live service, but the systems that they use kind of feel live servicey. Um, February 2nd. That's in 4 weeks. 4 weeks? 1, 2, 3 weeks. That's in 3 weeks. Nothing you said in this article is going to change. I'm extremely sorry to say. There's nothing that you said in this article that's going to change, like, at all. If this is the way the systems are on January 9th, that's the way the systems are going to be February 2nd, which means there isn't going to be a lot to look forward to when Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League drops. This is probably the content that he was talking about the person playing as King Shark. I definitely see that was different names, right? It definitely looked like
map to save citizens in a flying bus that looked like it's straight out of Fortnite. At least the Riddler puzzles are making a return from the Arkham games, bringing at least one familiar fun activity to Suicide Squad's Metropolis.
hold on. Strangely enough, for whatever reason, I'm not getting audio where I want it to be. There we go. That should fix it.
At least I hope they're fun because I didn't actually get to solve any of them. The potential saving grace for all my gripes could be that the whole combat system comes together a lot better when you get to sit down and actually make a build, which we didn't have a chance to do right away at the preview event. For some context, we started playing through the same tutorial from the beta and picking a character Deadshot in this case. After that, we jumped straight into Chapter 3 where I cried out shark because the character I had been playing was taken. What I didn't realize was that Chapter 3 gives you complete build.
Here's the thing, right? Why does the city look so bland? Like, Gotham looks so cool in Arkham Knight. There's nothing on the streets. There's nothing on the streets. Aren't people down there on the streets? Is the city abandoned? What's going on with the city? Okay, you got people and you got Green Lantern, but in this situation, are these people and things only here because Green Lantern and stuff is here? Like, how boring and dead is the city actually going to be? Now, in regards to this, the where is it? So we just saw the combat system towards the end, right? I'm gonna pull up Gotham Knights because I want to show you a side by side of both of these, where there's street combat for. Oh my man, that's what I'm talking about, baby. You played through this game for 11 hours, so I definitely know. You gotta respect MK Ice and Fire for doing his thing. So let me see if I can scrunch this. Because what I want to find, because they were talking about, builds, right? Ignore the Microsoft Edge. I just opened it because it's on the side. So they're talking about builds, right? In this game, which is Gotham Knights, it had the exact same thing. Where in Gotham Knights, you had loadout, crafting, mods, case file challenges, gear, abilities, that type of stuff. But you could choose essentially how your character fought, what type of elements were on your gun. It's basically Gotham Knights. It's Rocksteady's version of Gotham Knights. You've been here before. It's the same fucking game. If I could find a combat for just out in the world, which Gotham Knights, exact same issue, which was the story was great, but the world itself kind of fucking boring. At least it had like stealth abilities where you could like stealth take down people if you didn't want to fight them because they had an absolute ton of health. But it was the same thing. You look down on the ground, you see these different objectives there because there's an event happening where people are stealing fucking money. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the exact same thing. We've been here before. Exact same game. Absolutely been here before. Like I said, we're 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from seeing whether or not this game is actually going to be good. I don't have any expectation that it's going to blow my mind. I think it's just going to be generic and forgettable. And then we're going to have to sit down and see where exactly we go in regards to the Arkham universe, since this game does take place after the events of Batman Arkham Knight. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the fact that IGN basically took a giant shit on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, whether or not you're excited to play it, or whether or not Rocksteady should have just been like, fuck it, and made another Batman game. Comment down below, let me know, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.